The situation between America and China, as far as the tariff goes, is escalating more and more and more every day and every week. It's just 2 weeks ago. Well, I believe actually today. Today will be 2 weeks since Trump had his Liberation Day, where he said he was going to tax all of these different countries. We're going to bring in or tariff all of these different countries. We're going to be able to bring in all of this revenue. It was going to boost the American economy. It was going to bring, what do they call it? It was going to bring manufacturing jobs back to the US. And then he kind of backtracked. He said, hey, we're going to do a 90-day pause on every other country except for China. Now, China has the second biggest economy behind America. And I learned this because I can't escape all of these tariff videos. I've watched like at least 25 tariff videos in the past 2 weeks. But China has the second biggest economy after America. And because they manufacture so many things there, because everything that you see in America seems to have a made in China label on it, China is fighting back. They're saying, hey, we're not going to just roll over and let you do what it is that you want. You may have been a superpower 100 years ago, but China has built up their infrastructure and built up their economy so much that we rely on the products that are made there. We rely on that cheap labor to bring stuff into the US. Initially, I felt like, what is Trump doing? Because I saw my investment portfolio dwindle down, not only immediately after the inauguration, but in the past couple of months, we've seen it dwindle down, but especially on Liberation Day when he announced the tariffs. But I'm going to admit, I do feel a little different now that we're at the point that we're at now.
Tariffs on China could get as high as 245%. That is your top DC Daily headline for April 16. Breaking overnight, tariffs on China could jump as high as 245%. A White House fact sheet on Wednesday says the new hike is in response to China's retaliatory tariff of 125%. China has said it would not increase tariffs again, even if the United States does, posting this morning, quote, China remains committed to joining hands, not throwing punches. President Trump also hinting that phones and electronics may not be exempt from tariffs after all. Small imports will also be tariffed starting May 2nd. The president closing a loophole that had allowed imports less than $800 to be tariff exempt.
Okay, so where we stand today is that tariffs could go up to 245%. In China, they're at 120% with us right now. And if this is to believe, this is from Fox, if this is to believe, they said they're not going to continue to raise tariffs beyond where it is right now. They are looking to negotiate a deal. They're looking to get to the table and see if we can come to some sort of amicable resolution, if this is to be believed. And if this is the case, then I gotta say, maybe Trump played the long game and he knows what he's doing. Now, I will admit, I have been seeing a bunch of different content creators talk about how these tariffs are affecting their business. There was one guy, he has a channel with about 60,000 subscribers. He said that he has a acoustic panel business. He sells them through Facebook Marketplace. He said that his supplier is like, yo, we can't even give you a quote for your next shipment, even though he had previously placed the shipment. It was $27,000. He said, we can't even give you an updated quote for your shipment because everything is changing by the day. By the time it leaves here and gets to the docks, the price is going to go up. But with all the instability, we can't give you a price. Then there was another guy that I was watching. That channel is F Stoppers. I guess it has something to do with cameras, but they also manufacture some sort of hot sauce. In their video, they said, we tried to find a manufacturer in America, but the specific thing that we wanted cost 700% more to get it manufactured in America than it did to China. So we do see that the tariffs are affecting businesses, the businesses that are supposed to stimulate our economy. But at this point, I feel like there's no turning back, though. So regardless of how these businesses are being affected, we kind of got to keep our thumb on China at this point. Because if you like somebody that you're supposed to have a friendship with, that you're supposed to have a relationship with, you can't trust that you guys can just shake hands, turn around, and they're never going to burn you again after that. And we've already had a shaky relationship with China in the first place. We've already had a shaky relationship with them, so we can't trust them. And I'm not talking about the people of China. I'm talking about the government of China. We already know that China is known for infringing on people's intellectual property. We saw the guy from Shark Tank talk about that. What is his name? Kevin O'Leary. He was talking about that, how he can't litigate in the courts in China because they're not going to take his case. His IP is being stolen. We know that is a thing that happens historically, or at least that's a rumor that we heard, that China does not respect IP. They will copy your stuff, they will make it cheaper, and they will get it to market faster. So we already have a lot of stuff that's being manufactured with them. We already have intellectual property that's being stolen with them. And now we started to burn the relationship that was already fickle that we did have with them by raising these tariffs to 245%. Now, they said they're not going to do anything additional retaliatory, but the bridge has already been burned. The scars are already there. If we go back to manufacturing the stuff that we do there, all of the stuff that we get from them, I'm talking about iPhones, I'm talking about the guy that has the hot sauce, I'm talking about the guy that has the acoustic panels. If we say, hey, we're going to start doing business with you again, there's no guarantee that they're not just going to do something in the future that's going to crash our economy. Because at this point, we can't trust them. So Trump, he has to play the long game now. Maybe this was his plan all along, and he really does believe in tariffs and bringing manufacturing back to America. But all the experts are saying it's going to take years, right? That's what they've said. But at the point that we're at now, we can't just go back and be like, okay, we're going to wash our hands of all of this stuff. We're all going to forget about it. The U.S. is not going to forget about it because Trump is already mad. He's in there for another 4 years. And the Chinese and the president over in China is not going to forget about it. They've built their economy on the back of all the manufacturing that happens over there. And taking that ability away from them has been so detrimental that you have all of these factory workers and all of these plants. They're coming out and they're saying, hey, we make all the luxury goods here for cheap. You can buy them directly from us and you can skip the line essentially with all of these major brands like Fendi, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, all of these bags that people want, all these clothes that people want. If the people that are making these videos about the products that are manufactured there, like we just said, the luxury items, if they're to be believed, they're hurting. So they're like, just buy directly from us. We'll get you all of this stuff much cheaper. You can get a lot more of it, but we need the money coming in. So at this point, we've got our foot on their neck with the 245% tariff. The factories are hurting, and we know that we cannot just mend that relationship and go back. So we have to lean into this, regardless of what happens in the near future. It's just not a good look to burn a bridge and then say, oh, let's shake hands and turn this thing around. It's not going to be as easy as we think it is going to be if we try to go down that route. So with that being said, I'm going to say that I'm with what Trump is doing at this point. We've got to ride it out because we've singled China out among all of the different countries that we were trying to do business with, that we initially put tariffs on. And we said we're going to continue our stuff with China because we don't want them to have an economic stronghold over us. All of the things that are manufactured over there, whether it be weapons or the stuff that I mentioned, iPhones, the hot sauce, the acoustic panels, we don't want to give them back all the leverage that we're trying to grasp from them. So we're going to see how this journey plays out. We're going to see how it ends. We're going to see if Trump's plan, or what Trump is saying is his plan, if it comes to fruition. But we got to lean in at this point because you can't just go back trusting your enemy and think that everything is going to be okay and you guys are going to be singing Kumbaya and just trading back and forth. I don't see it happening. But, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I'm not a politician. But those are my thoughts. If you like the video, like the video. Subscribe to me back here for the next conversation. And if you have something to say, let the world know. This is the place for discourse. Till next time. Peace.